Hello, it's Jessica Cotto here, and I am doing my final speech for my basic public speaking class. Um, this is a persuasive speech on how I think as adults we should bring back childhood Christmas traditions. Um, I'm using, I forgot what it was called, but it's like a three-step thing. There's the need, which is as adults we do not do the Christmas traditions we loved as kids, like baking cookies, baking crafts, or giving back. And we miss the joy and family time they used to bring. uh, my satisfaction step is we can bring these traditions back by trying to set aside time to bake, make crafts, or volunteer, which helps us feel connected and enjoy the holiday even more. And then finally, my last step was imagining spending the holidays baking cookies, making homemade ornaments, or helping others. Bringing back these traditions is not only for everyone, but it will make the season much more happier. So I'm basically telling you what the need is. Like, we need to bring back these traditions. The satisfaction is we can bring back the traditions. The visualization is what we could imagine with this tradition. But, anyways, I'll get on to the intro. Think back on a Christmas childhood memory. Maybe a time when you made something sweet. Warm Christmas cookies that fill the house with sugary smell, or the glittery mess on your table from a craft you swore was the best masterpiece in the world. Even if it was just a sparkly snowflake, or even the excitement of dropping off canned foods at your school's Christmas drive. Knowing you were helping someone else, now compare that to the holidays today as adults. What do you feel? Do you feel rushed? Do you feel stressed? Barely feeling like you even have time to breathe? As we grow up, many of these traditions we made as children slowly disappear, and this is often due to adult stress. So, why should you listen to me exactly? Although not everyone celebrates Christmas, whether it be from a different religion or just something you don't believe in. Baking cookies, donating, and making crafts can be inclusive to everyone regardless of those backgrounds. So these activities can bring people together. That was the whole point. In simple, meaningful ways, I actually grew up with these traditions, and I recently started doing them again. I've just got done like coloring a couple of Christmas pictures for, to give to my friends, and I've never done that before, and I started recently baking again. But I also noticed though, when I wasn't doing them, I felt like the season was just slipping away from me, like I didn't have enough time. Um, it just didn't feel the same like it did when I was a kid. But bringing these traditions back, even as an adult, changed the way I felt about myself and Christmas. I felt much more like I can just take in what it's supposed to be and not have to worry about anything for the time being. Losing childhood traditions changes our relationship with the holiday, and bringing them back can help us reconnect, not just to others, but with our inner child as well. And now that I've touched on how our relationship with Christmas has changed, let's explore why the loss of tradition actually affects us deeply. So most of us no longer do the Christmas activities we loved as kids, whether it be from not having enough time or just growing out of it. Um, but baking cookies, making crafts, are giving back, and we're doing that. Like when we don't do that, we just miss the joy and family that time that once brought us together. We get nostalgic for it. As adults, holiday stress enters the picture, something we never experienced as kids, and it leaves little time for joy. As kids, we just never felt that stress until we got adults. Adults face things like festive overload, work pressure, shopping stress, and busy schedules that wear us down mentally. I'm sure you can agree. Also, family expectations, disagreements, and financial pressure also add on to more strain. In fact, a 2023 uh, article from the American Psychological Association study found that 89% of the U.S. adults feel stressed during the holidays, and 41% feel more stressed than any other time of the year. So, with all that stress, The holidays start to feel more like a task than a celebration. When we're overwhelmed, we avoid small things that once made us happy because that's just our way of coping. Without those traditions, the season loses its sparkle and nostalgia turns into loneliness. Now, I believe losing traditions also make the holidays feel disconnected because these activities once brought us together. Like growing up, we never baked cookies alone, we never made crafts alone, or even donated alone. We just bonded during that time, and that's what we need during this time, especially with the season and everything and all the winter depression. But without those moments, we just miss the opportunities to build relationship and reconnect with what Christmas once meant to us and connect to the people we barely have time to connect to. Without traditions, the holidays can start to feel like routine or empty. Instead of looking forward to meaningful moments, some adults see Christmas as something just to get through, just another holiday. The joy we once felt shifts into exhaustion now that I've shown you how losing it affects us. How does bringing them back change the holiday for the better? Well, we can bring these traditions back by simply setting aside small amounts of time to do what we want, such as baking, craft, or volunteering. These activities help us feel connected and remind us what the season is supposed to be like. Reintroducing even one small tradition can bring back the magic we felt as kids. These traditions are for everyone, regardless of religion or background, as I said, because they're more focused on what Christmas is truly about, which is togetherness, kindness, and community. So, what can you do? You don't have to go all out first. You can start small. You can bake cookies with someone you love, or make homemade cards or ornaments for someone, or even donate to a local shelter or toy drive. These don't have to be expensive or time consuming. The meaning comes from the connection rather than the cost. Baking cookies doesn't even have to be specifically Christmas themed. Crafts don't have to be perfect, and volunteering doesn't have to require a specific belief system. These activities connect us with others and help heal our inner child and all of us as well. When we celebrate these simple traditions, we do not only help ourselves, but we include others who may feel left out by religious or cultural differences. These are universal acts of human kindness, and they bring warmth back to the season for everyone. Now let's imagine what the holidays could look like when we bring these traditions back. Picture a December evening, baking cookies with that smell in the air, or like sitting at a kitchen table, you know, wondering how you made a complete mess on your table, trying to make just a simple ornament or a card, but it's still funny regardless. Something made with love instead of buying a card. Just something you make with love instead of just buying a card that someone would just throw away. Or imagine donating toys or clothes and picturing the smile of a child who has received your gift of generosity. Instead of stress, you feel warmth and connection, laughing over sticky cookie dough, making crafts that look like you're 12, that look like you're 12 again. Making crafts that make you look like you're 12 again. Like, that's just how horrible the craft is, or knowing you gave something meaningful. These moments bring people together, filling the season with joy instead of tension, even if the simplest traditions can bring back the meaning that Christmas has been losing. So what happens when we don't bring them back? Well, without traditions, the holidays, like I said, is just another holiday to get through. The days, they just blur together, the magic fades, the stress just becomes just a big ball of what we think the season is all about. Humans rely on connection, and without it, the holidays can feel hollow and lonely, which is a big issue for anyone who's going through seasonal depression and stuff like that. It's very recommended, and I'm just saying this myself, I feel like it's very recommended to be around people around this time, or you will feel like that. Because you're already sad enough because of the seasons changing. When fewer people take craft or bake craft or donate or participate in meaningful activities, the season shifts towards consumerism and away from generosity. Now, this is where I kind of counter react my statement. So I don't think, baking, crafting, and donating, that's not all the things that you have to do in order to get that same feeling. It's just examples that I'm using. Younger generations may grow up never experiencing the joy we once did. They may never know the true meaning behind the holiday, and that disconnects passes from generation to generation. And that's why I think, and I forgot to put on here, that's why it's important to pass on these traditions to your children. So, in this long speech, I have explained why adults lose childhood traditions and how bringing them back can reconnect us. Sorry, I'm using my paper. And why these activities include everyone regardless of background. So, this year, I encourage you to just bring back at least one tradition or start a new one, something small that brings you joy and connection. It doesn't have to be big. You can use mine for example. You could bake, you can craft, or you could donate. That's the three things I like to do. But do not let the holiday rush by. You could reconnect with your own child, reconnect with the people you don't get to see very often. You just know they're not here for very long, but and bring the true meaning of Christmas, which is kindness, generosity, and togetherness, back into your life, into your heart. This has been my last speech for my semester. I hope you have a good Christmas or whatever else you celebrate. And I'm signing off. Thank you.